classified into electromechanical induction meter, electronic meter, and smart meter. Here I have showing you the images of 3 meters. So traditional meter is your electromagnetic mechanical induction meter, so which is called as watt hour meter or kilowatt hour meter. So this is basically made up of a aluminum disc inside present, which is conductive in nature but non-magnetic, and the revolutions of this aluminum disc, number of revolutions of this aluminum disc, make uses of the amount of power that is consumed by a consumer, whether it can be a residential consumer or any industrial consumer or anybody. Okay, so the rotation of the disk is made possible by passing power through it, and which is nothing but it is proportional to the amount of power flow on through the meter. So as traditionally seen that the practical image of a meter is shown here. So this meter works by counting the total number of revolutions, and it is relative to the usage of energy. So here two types of connections are shown here. One is connected to line, the meter, which is the ends of the meter connected to line, and the other ends of the meter connected to the load. So these two connections are shown here. So as you know, the electromechanical induction meter requires electromagnets, and because of the presence of this magnetic field, there is a possibility of rotation of the disk. Okay, so from the Lorentz force equation, this disk starts rotating. To make the disk rotated, so you require uh, magnetic field. Okay, so for that purpose we are using shunt magnet and series magnet. So two electromagnets are available. So this is the traditional diagram which you have seen already. Now I am trying to show you the practical image of the traditional construction. So this is your shunt. So here is this is your shunt, and this is going to be your series. So I will try to show you the copper band also. Here this is a small copper band here. Okay, so this is how the copper band is connected over here. I think I have one more larger image of the copper band. I will show you that also. Now, as you know, series magnet is connected in series with the supply. So it is consists of a lesser number of turns of thick wire, whereas shunt magnet is consists of a magnet which is connected in parallel. It consists of number of wires of thin wire. Okay, so you can see here the count also. So here the thickness of wire is seen in case of series, and in case of shunt you can see the more number of thin wires connected. Okay, so while drawing the diagram also make sure that you will be drawing less number of wires in case of series, and in case of shunt you are going to draw more number of wire connections. Okay, so this coil the wires that is connected in case of shunt magnet, you call this coil as potential coil, and these coils are called as current coils, right? So as you know, the potential coil or voltage coil, and current coils or series coil. In between these two coils, you are having the aluminum disc. Okay, so this aluminum disc is provided with a gear train. So where the gear train will consist of number of gear levers for seconds, minutes, and hours. So those things and all are mentioned here in this diagram. So this is the traditional equivalent circuit of the energy meter diagram, where you can see here single phase power supply line given to this current coil, as this current coil is in series connection, and this is parallelly connected here. Voltage coil or potential coil is connected here like this. Okay, so this is your copper band, and you can see this aluminum disc. Okay, there is the presence of brake magnet here. As the construction of energy meter having four important main parts, we can divide them based on the working operation. One is the driving system. So this driving system consists of two electromagnets. So one is current coil magnets, another one is pressure coil. One is connected in series and another one is connected in shunt. So these coils produces the necessary flux. Okay, so the coil that is connected in parallel is called as pressure coil, in some textbooks it is mentioned as pressure coil also. Here that is what here pressure coil means. It can be pressure coil, voltage coil, or potential coil. The name is one and the same. I mean the operation is one and the same. So this flux produced by the shunt magnet is made to be produced in exact quadrature with the supply voltage with the help of this copper shadings bands that are available here. Okay, so it is made that this will be in exact quadrature, so that if and all whenever required you can adjust the copper shading band. So basically the copper shading band is available to produce a voltage shift. Okay, so because here it is inductive coil, so there the current flow on here, and when this current is passing through this copper band, this copper is a conducting one and it is of resistive in nature, so there will be a uh, phase angle difference between the supply voltage and the voltage that is produced here. Okay, so now the second system what we require is moving system. How the moving things are happening, that movement is happened by the presence of aluminum disc. Okay, so which is mounted on a light alloy. So this disc is positioned between the current series magnet or shunt magnet. It is based on it is housed in between jewel bearings. Okay, so this this moving system uh, will not have any mechanism of controlling. Okay, so because there is no, in case of moving coil instruments, if you remember, there will be control springs to control it. Okay, so here there is no sort of such sort of control system here. Okay, so that is why there is no controlling torque. In case of this we will be seeing only the moment, rotational will be there. Okay, so that means deflection is going to happen, there is no controlling. Okay, so as of now there is no controlling torque that is available for the rotation of the disc. Okay, so as you know, in case of induction motor, I mean in case of PMC meter, uh, you can see that there are two types of torque. One is deflection torque, another one is controlling torque. Deflection torque is nothing but when you insert the meter in the circuit, so the amount of deflection by the pointer from its initial position to any other position, okay, that is called deflection torque. If deflection torque is present, then the pointer moves from 0 to any other value. So if it is 10 volts, it moves to 10 value. If it is 20, it moves to 20. Or if it is 15, it moves to 15. Okay, nearer to 15. It may be exactly 15 or very nearer to 15. That is the torque that is responsible for movement of the pointer from its initial position to that position. Now controlling torque is the torque that is responsible for whose magnitude is equal to that of deflection torque but in opposite direction, so that the pointer will be showing exactly at the value. Okay, so here there is no controlling torque. Okay, so when this controlling torque is not there, so what happens, the disc starts keep on rotating. Okay, there is nothing to stop the disc. Okay, as of now. Okay, I will tell you how we are going to make this stoppage of disc in the coming lecture. So this is the copper band. As I told you, here you have the copper band here. So this is your pressure coil and these two are your current coils. Okay, so this is your voltage coil. Okay, so these two are your current coils and this is your copper band. Okay, so this is the practical thing that you have. So the flux produced by the series magnet is directly proportional to the current flow, and the shunt also produces another flux. So as these two are voltage and current in case of a lagging circuit or inductive circuit, so these two fluxes lag each other by 90 degrees. Okay. So now because of these two fluxes, there is a chances of eddy currents developed in the disk, so due to which the disk starts rotating. Okay, so this force because with which the disk is starting rotating, that is nothing but the instantaneous value of current and voltage with respect to phase angle, because there is a phase angle difference between the flux produced by the voltage shunt and the flux produced by the series coil. So that phase angle difference, based on that phase angle difference, your disk starts rotating. So to make the disk, to stoppage the disk, okay, what we are going to do is we are going to apply the braking system. So in that braking system, a permanent magnet is placed, okay, which is very nearer to the aluminum disk, and based on that we can produce a braking torque. The position of this braking magnet is adjustable, and based on that radial positions we can control the, or we can make the disk to brake. Brake is nothing but to halt, okay. So in case of, especially in case of power failure, uh, this stoppage of disk is quite useful, okay. So this one, now this is another interesting thing, okay. So here can see a small hole, okay. So you can see this is the aluminum disc, okay. So this is your aluminum disc, and here you can see a small hole, okay. So this was actually mentioned to avoid the creeping error, okay. So you know, even though if you are not using, suppose you are not there in the home, uh, only when very light loads are connected or no loads are connected, okay. So still your disk starts rotating very slowly because of the presence of the magnetic field that is already there, okay. So because of that, what happens, suppose for some months if you are not present and the disk starts slowly rotating, now there is a chance uh, of the quarrel between the consumer and the electricity people, because he may say that I am not there in the home and why power bill has come, because the number of rotations are happening here. Automatically every month after number of certain rotations are counted, so every month the lineman will come and he will note down the number of units consumed, okay, and he will generate the bill. Now the point will come here, even though we are not at home, why we should pay the bill, okay. So to avoid such sort of things, okay, so we can make there is a small air gap hole is mentioned here, okay. So this hole, when the disk starts reaching this hole and there is no power consumed by the loads, then automatically what happens is the disk will not rotate, okay. So this was one modification made, okay. Most of the times you will be seeing this type of diagram. So kh is equal to 7.2, so like this 1 meter you can see. So nothing but it is an energy meter, k is nothing but a constant, okay. So that means it shows that the one revolution took place in 14.4 seconds, and the amount of power consumed is 800 watts. This is an example standard by the electric company that they given, okay. So this data is calculated by the electrical company, for respect to electrical company who gave this value, okay. And the formula for calculation of our power is equal to 3600 into kh by t, where t is nothing but the total number of revolutions took place, okay. And the modification came because this disk movement is going to be altered. We can make the disk to be rotating fast, or we can make the disk to be rotating slowly, okay. So these things are happening. So because of that, now the next edition of development in the energy meter came, that the usage of change of this traditional thing with display. First of all, we are going to change the display with LED or LCD. Then we are going to introduce some microcontroller uh, to note down, to count the number of units consumed by the meter. So this meter can record the parameters like voltages, reactive power, instantaneous usage of current, maximum demand, so like that. So these are all going to be mentioned by the electronic meter, okay. So next comes the smart energy meter. So this smart energy meter is something like this. Now and all today you can see this sort of meters. They are going to be installed, okay, in a phased manner. Almost since Kakinada is a smart city, you can see this sort of meters coming to Kakinada in very near future. So this, in this meter there is communication in both sides. That means till now only the amount, number of units consumed, okay, is going to be only known. Okay, so now there is a two-way communication. Okay, customer can communicate with the utility and utility can communicate with the customer. What is meant by you consumer communicating with utility? Now and all only one way direction. That means how much amount of power you are consuming, you have to pay the bill. Whether you are going to consume or not consume, also you have to pay the bill. That is the only one way communication. Okay, so power will be sent to your home if you are present in the home or if you are not present in the home. Based on your usage, if you are present in the home and use more number of units, more power bill will come. If not, minimum charges will you should pay. Now there is the option to the consumer or customer here, so that he can say that for 3 months I will not be at home, so I will not pay any bill. Okay, prepaid, something like a prepaid. Okay, so if and all he is present, he will use. Or another method of things are also coming in future for electrical people, like tariffs for number of units. You can pay the bill previously. I want this month this many number of units. Whether I am going to consume it daily or monthly, use our choice. Okay. So like our recharge, mobile recharge, so you will be given for 149, you will be given a talk time of 100 rupees. Whether you are going to use that 100 rupees in one day or 24 days or 28 days, the time frame will be given. So that is your choice. Okay. So like that, utility and customer interaction are going to be increased with the smart energy meter. Okay. So here wireless energy meter is going to be present. You can send data and receive data wirelessly with some distance. Okay, there are some standard distances where you can use. So here for this, modems are implemented, like Wi-Fi modems are there. So for here also modems are going to be implemented. So which includes this fiber cable, power line communication, telephone, etc. The smart energy meter features of the smart energy meters. So their ranges is between 100 meters to 6 kilometer. Okay, so up to 6 kilometers you can wirelessly communicate with the smart energy meter, and they can work with a frequency of 1 gigahertz up to or even 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, so these are different modules. Okay, and there is a proprietary communication protocol which is called Zigbee protocol. So using that Zigbee protocol dedicated for this one, they are able to communicate like that. Okay, so this is the internal diagram of your smart energy meter, where you are going to see real time clock. RTC stands for real time clock. So this is the heart of the system. Okay, so all the operations are going to be based on this real time clock. So this real time clock will check the amount of data consumed, and that will be given to the processor, and the microprocessor controller that is available there will calculate the amount of energy consumed, and through GSM module it will send over to the utility. Okay, so as a part of syllabus, the smart meter is not there. Only you have energy meter. You can have a traditional meter in your description. So now comparison of meters. We have electromechanical energy meter, electronic energy meter, and smart energy meter. So the construction of electromechanical energy is very simple. There is no sensors or no problems of microcontrollers, clocking speeds, all those things. Okay, so these electronic energy meters can be applied even for non-linear loads. So in case of smart energy meter, there is improvement in reducing the bills. Okay, so if you want monthly bill, however you want your monthly bill, that is possible with the smart energy meter. You can have the prepaid smart works, or you can have the day-wise bills. You can have that is also there, applied in US countries and all. So there they have daily tariff. Okay, so they will buy only when the power is going to be sold at low price. Okay, so they will buy there. And another development that is happening is installation of solar panel on the rooftop, and they will sell the power. Okay, the individual customer now, instead of only buying power from the utility, they are starting selling to the utility. Okay, so here utility is nothing but our substation. So we are, instead of buying power, so every month we will pay bill, AP, EP, DCL. So from them we are buying power every day, monthly we are going to pay the bill. Now if you have installation, solar installation on the rooftop, and you are using your power and you have excess amount of power, so you can sell that power to the utility. So if you want that sort of situation, there is no possibility in the earlier meters. Okay, that is there, because DG, you can have diesel generator at your home, and with the diesel generator you can generate power. Okay, that power is not able to be sold to the utility. You can use to your building only if you have a diesel generator. Okay, but now the picture has been changed. Okay, now you can sell power to the utility also, because of the smart meter. And the measurement is precise and accurate. Here it is more robust, because as I told you, the measurement is accurate in all the meters, there is no problem, but those measurements can be altered in case of electromechanical meter, which is not possible with the electronic meter or smart meter. Okay, that is what tampering in the meter is avoided completely with the smart meter. These meters are, all the meters are reliable. Electronic meters improve quality, and accuracy is more better in case of smart energy meter. So these are low cost, these are highly accurate, and these are highly efficient. Here I am not going to mention any negative things of the meters, only all the positive values or positive things of the meters are going to be highlighted here. So your electromechanical meter is very cheap compared to electronic meter, and electronic meter is compared to cheap when compared to smart energy meter. So smart energy meter is costly, so but they are highly efficient. Okay, so that means you can generate, you can know how much amount of power consumed by you, and also you can know how much amount of power you can sell. Okay, so both things are possible with the smart meter. So these two things are not possible with electromechanical energy meter and even uh, electronic meter. So the development has changed in such a way that primarily counting number of units of energy was done, then that has been shifted to improving the tamper proof. So okay, there is no theft to the energy meter done, and now the development has been shifted to uh, not only consuming and also selling the power, excess amount of power. Okay, so that is the transformation in case of meters. Okay, so on the whole, we have discussed what is energy meter, what are the different classification of meters, electromechanical meter, electronic meter, and smart meter, and comparison of meters. Okay, uh, now it's time for you to questions.